the Boston Bruins are still holding off on one of the most needed to be made moves in this season. Georgii Merkulov has been tearing it up in the AHL, and after last game against the New Jersey Devils, it is finally time to bring him up, and we've been waiting for this for so long. This is my petition right now to make him get called up to the big squad with the Boston Bruins because it is time. I'm going to be talking about everything here in this video and why, if he's not called up, this could be one of the most detrimental decisions by the Boston Bruins in quite some time. Before we get into this video, though, we notice that just over 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot for all of your Boston Bruins news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We are covering everything Boston Bruins, and it is a very trying time for the Boston Bruins, but still, we have to expect a move to be made soon, right? I don't understand why something has not been made just yet, but without any further ado, let's get into our first little screenshot here, which is really going to point out a lot of what needs to be done. Looking at Georgii Merkulov's stats from the AHL, not just in this season, but in the past 3 seasons, we see him right now just under point per game, 33 points in 35 games. Last season, 65 points in 67 games. Season before, 55 points in 67 games. In those 3 years with the AHL, he has been tearing it up. He's been up and down, in the lineup for the AHL, for the Providence Bruins, made his debut in this season, and got sent back down right after. But that was an earlier time in the season. Right now is a way different time than what we initially saw earlier with this Boston Bruins team. Looking at Merkulov, he has the most perfect role with this team right now. He is an incredible power play player. He is very, very good on the power play. He's very, very good on even strength, and he's been really just showing what he deserves to be and where he deserves to be, which is the NHL level. After scoring goals in the AHL, the guy don't even celebrate anymore. He knows that he's just waiting for his time to be called up. He's well past his time, and it needs to be soon. But as I mentioned, this is going to be a detrimental move if he is not called up. Why is that? He's on the final year of his deal with the Boston Bruins. $925K, third year, 3-year deal. On this final year, going to be an RFA after this year, but if he decides to not go out, still under team control, but if he does not get called up, he could say, why am I staying with this team if I'm going to be with Providence my entire career? He has been to a point now where he's proven that he should be called up. 24 years old, point per game in the AHL, one of the best players on Providence. And right now, with Vinny Lettieri up in the NHL, he is the best player on Providence and has continued to show that he has had his time down there. It is now time to make his way back up to the NHL. We have nothing to lose at this point. We're looking at a very, very injured roster. And with that final year, although he's an RFA, looking at it, he may say, hey, I'm going to sign an offer sheet somewhere else. The Bruins could, of course, match that, but still, if a team decides to give him a one-way contract worth more than what the Bruins think he's worth, he could leave, absolutely for sure, and not really even care about the Bruins anymore. And we know that we've had him for quite some time. We want him to be the best he can be, and he's supposed to be a big part of this NHL team's future, but while staying in the AHL at this level for so long, why is he down there? Why is he just going to waste away his talent when he knows he could be an NHL talent? And that's what right now we're looking at. If I'm going to pull up the lines from last night, this is not just last night either, the past few games as well. Some injuries, we're not going to deny that. Trent Frederic, Marchand, Cole Koepke, a few other injuries, and a few on defense as well. But when you're looking at a third line with your $7.75 million center at third line and Elias Lindholm, Vinny Lettieri, give him credit where credit's due. He's playing well, playing very, very well, actually, at that. And Oliver Wahlstrom, your waiver claim, who has, I believe, 1 or 2 points, and I do have a screenshot later to confirm, but 1 or 2 points with the Boston Bruins that's being claimed, and 18 games. Not the most ideal. That seems like a perfect spot for a man with the initials GM to be put there. And not that GM Don Sweeney, Georgii Merkulov. We have him in that AHL spot. Of course, Fabian Lysell as well, another guy which I would rather him, come up as well, but I think Merkulov right now is the more important person to bring up because of the way he's been playing. Lysell been playing okay as well, not been playing bad at all, but Merkulov has really just exceeded what the initial thoughts were going to be for him. You have a guy that you called up, Max Jones, put on that fourth line. He's there temporarily to fill in for Mark Kaslik, and that's something that we can't really deny. We need that grit on that fourth line, but putting Justin Brazeau on the fourth line over Oliver Wahlstrom is absolutely ridiculous. But we go to the second line. We go to the top 6 as well. Charlie Coyle, a guy who has not been performing well lately, a guy who really has not shown that he should be on this lineup. He should not be in this lineup right now and really should not be at all pointed to any lines here. When you're looking at his stats this year, 49 games, 18 points, 12 goals, 6 assists, putting the puck in the back of the net, but not at the best pace we need. 32 years old, going on 33 here in not too long. He is going to be a guy that the Bruins really need to think about before the trade deadline. He's one of the top trade candidates still, as he has been earlier on this season. He's one of the top trade candidates that should be targeted by many teams, knowing that in a different system, he may strive. He may find that exact success that we've need. And we've seen that success with the Bruins at some point, but it's not this season. And seeing him there with this team, practically invisible on the ice alongside Elias Lindholm, a move needs to be made. I don't know why you're just letting, let's just call him an empty spot on the wing, sit there and find his way in. But we're looking at the Bruins. We know that they have so many contracts that need to be signed on forward next year. Right now, I believe they only have 4 players under contract that are in the NHL right now for future seasons. And of course, that includes Mark Kassel, who signed a deal earlier this season, a 3-year extension, one that is going to be a big one. We love Mark Kassel on this team. He's been one of the players that you see every moment he's on the ice. Very noticeable, and that's what we need. But going forward, we're looking at some other players that are going to have to be questioned about what the plan is for them. Oliver Wahlstrom as well, being one, as I mentioned, 12 games played, 2 points. I do apologize, I got that wrong earlier, but not at all what the Bruins need to be looking for, and it really has not changed from the New York Islanders. I was hoping that we would see a different outburst of offense due to the Islanders being a very defensive team, but that has not been the case. And when you look at a guy like Merkulov, I really see no way that he's not on this team over at least 4 to 5 players right now on this list. And why not? You have nothing to lose, as I mentioned, and there's going to be a big awakening and a big shock to fans, I would assume, when we do hit the trade deadline, when we do hit the offseason, looking at this list. Now, this is a spreadsheet from, I can't remember where it is, but given the Bruins' market values for next season. When you go and look at this, I do apologize, it's a bit small, but I will read them out for you. Brad Marchand is projected $7.5 million for 3 years. You go to Trent Frederic, $3.9 for 4 years. You go to Morgan Geekie, $3.2 for 4 years. You go to John Beecher, $1.7 for 2 years. Justin Brazeau, $1.4 for 2 years. Cole Koepke, $1.1 for 1 year. Mason Ulrei, $3 million for 2 years, a steal of a contract. That would be Mark McLaughlin, 1 year at $775, and Parker Wotherspoon, 1 year at $993. Looking at these numbers, a lot of these players are a lot higher than what we'd like to see, including Trent Frederic, including Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand would be very tough to get rid of, but when you're looking at this, you know that we can't really afford to bring back everybody here, and will the Bruins actually want to bring back everybody is another question. When you look at some of these guys, of course, Trent Frederic being one of them at $4 million for 4 years, the Bruins will not want to pay that. He's not been finding the success this year. He is bound to be traded at some point this season. Looking at him, looking at Charlie Coyle under contract as well. Morgan Geekie, who's been very, very hot as of late. You never know what the future holds for some of these players. So Merkulov has a spot in this lineup now. He has a spot at the trade deadline. He has a spot in the offseason. But they need to bring him up before all of these moves to know that he is a part of the plan of this team, because we cannot afford to lose him. And here's where this is from. Sorry, I do apologize. AFP Analytics. The 2024-2025 midseason extension projections are live now. Check out the 289 different projections. Some RFAs having a long and short-term projections at the link below. And this is one here. Go look at this tweet. Go kind of look at it yourself. There are more numbers there that I didn't fit on the screen because you would never have been able to see it. But I do recommend going to look at this. Let me know what you think about these moves here. What do you think? Do you think we need to bring Merkulov up, Lysell, anybody else? And who do you want to see gone, sent down, fired to the sun? Whatever you want to do with them, let me know in the comments below. That's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. And as I mentioned, trying times for the Boston Bruins, a game tonight against the Ottawa Senators. A very big one that we're going to need to get a win. And if we don't, the Bruins are in some serious trouble and bound for some serious moves. So let me know what you think. But that's all I got. Like I said, that's all I got. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.